Banter fam, we're just searching for a temporary bottom. Guys, again, today, I told you guys every day I'm bringing you a setup. I want to give you guys a couple of altcoin setups today. Zcash is down to $300. I think there is a big trade to be taken there. Solana down at the 120s. You know, I'm busy longing. Got stopped yesterday, longed again. So I want to explain to you guys just how I'm using this downside right now to build positions. When the market gets red, especially when it starts to slow down a little bit at the bottom, is when I am paying attention. I also want to give you guys my views of what I think the next 6 months or so looks like for Bitcoin and altcoins as well. Just so that when we're busy with the short time frame, and we're paying attention to the trades we're taking, we also have a bit of understanding on the higher time frame, so it can bring that bit of calmness. Right, I think there's a lot of tension, a lot of scaredness and things within the market. And I think the best thing you can do right now is to get yourself to a calm place and to play the game. So let's get aligned a little bit on high time frame and let's look at the next major setups. I am looking at a bounce coming pretty soon. And I do think Bitcoin is going to chase a lot of liquidity to the upside. And I do think Bitcoin dominance is going to be weak in that time too. So I think there is some strong bullish trades incoming that I do not want us to miss. This market is going to try drain you down. How fast we're going to make our money back all comes down to your dedication, your calmness, and the willing to not quit. 𝗦𝗧𝗔𝗥𝗍𝗄. Let's go.
I try and help everyone in my space, and this is what I get. I try and fight the devils, but inside I'm just like 𝗧𝗿𝗍𝗱𝗏. Welcome to Sheldon's show.
Yes, fam, what's happening? Brand channel, hit the subscribe button. Guys, like the video up, keep the vibes going, keep pushing through. We are an army that warriors through the hard times. We have been here before, we have fought through it, and we will do it again. We will continue. Remember, guys, your Cyber Mondays and your Black Fridays and stuff. Black Fridays kind of come to an end, but we do still have a couple of Cyber Mondays. Remember, you still have the bit funded opportunity right now where you buy 3 and get 3 free. These are funded accounts. These are what I am going to be trading very soon. Here we go. I've loaded up the accounts. I'm ready to go. I'm trading the $100,000 package. Okay, and I'm also going to give you a bit of an understanding of when I'm going to be answering this. The key here this week is to pass, right? And that's the big thing. Now, I want to show you guys something here while I'm here. Let's go back here. I just want to show you guys. So let's go here to dashboard. Remember the cool change that has happened on Bitfunded, okay, is we don't have the time limit anymore. You see this, minimum days of trading, 0 out of 0. So that means if you pass the challenge today, tomorrow you can trade with a funded account. Huge, right? Very, very, very big. And remember how the packages work as well. Just to show you guys, $99, you pass the challenge. How does the challenge work? You got to get up to 8 to 10% in growth on the demo account without losing 8% of the account. Right? So if you lose 8% of the accounts, the challenge closes. You get 8%. Okay, so the key here is to time and use the risk to reward ratio, meaning that when you take a trade, risk 1% for 3% to 5% gains. Right? The way you get that is to fish when the markets have come down, slow down, quick pop, get out, right? And just pass the challenge. And the key here is to have a whole bunch of unlocked challenges. When the market goes bull again and looking nice and strong, right? You have a lot more money than what you actually have. Right? Out of $99, you unlock a $5,000 package. Of $149, you get $10,000. And remember, this $5,000 can be 5x leveraged. Right? I'm going to be spending a lot of time in teaching you guys how to pass funded accounts because I think it's a good opportunity in a market where we've lost money, right? So we need to make it back quicker, which means when the market reverses, we need to have more money than what we got, right? That's how you recover quicker. That's how you use tools and get yourself back up quickly, okay? So this $100 can give you up to $25,000 position size. This $140 can give up to a $50,000 position size, right? And this, you don't even have to trade with leverage. You can trade straight to 10,000, which is already massive, guys. So just highlighting there for you guys the opportunities. Let's jump through a couple of things. I want to quickly go through my views. I do think we are very close to a Bitcoin, you know, the top kind of being in for the cycle. Now, again, I don't think there's 4-year cycles anymore. Okay, I think that's kind of shifted, but it does mean that a bear can take anywhere up to 12 months, right? Just downside, boringness, not much opportunity. Okay, but first, there is another high to be put in first, right? And we've seen this previously before over here, right? There was Bitcoin that rallied all the way up from $5,000 to $64,000, and then we pulled back, right? So we have had this before. So before we just jump to it's over, you got to remember that if we look at where we are now, we are down 31%. right? Last cycle, okay, we ended up going down up to 51%. Okay, so even now, if there's a bit more downside, just remember this has happened before. Okay, and remember that the next leg that came did send the alt season, right? Because when this phase happened over here, right, the dominance was still quite high. Actually, probably very similar to where we are today. So if we look at the time over here, you're basically looking at the end of May. And we can look at the end of May here. Okay, and we can look at May over here. Here we go, right? Actually very close to where we are right now. So May, we were around 58%. We had 59% today, right? After that bounce in Bitcoin, where Bitcoin went back from 30 all the way up to the higher areas, right, of 69,000, we ended up having a very big collapse of dominance. So just keep that in mind as well, right? That firstly, I do think the high of Bitcoin can be in. Okay, where they trapped us last cycle was we had the drop and they sent price a little bit higher than the previous price. And that kind of got everyone to think, hey, we are going up. Right, so I wouldn't be surprised if that tactic gets used again. Now, the cycle before that was the different tactic, was the lower high. Right, this is very important because in the next few weeks, I see this market recovering quick. I actually see a lot of altcoins making new highs, right? But Bitcoin itself, it's going to be very important, right? This one, they had the rally, we had the drop, okay? And again, I just want to remind you the size of the drop because we're all acting like this has never happened before, okay? Halfway of the cycle. Okay, we saw here a 42%. When this rally happened, the altcoins went crazy, right? But the tactic that they used this time, this is where it's going to be a little bit of a fight, when we get there in the next few weeks, was price went up, drop, lower high, bear market. Right? Then we went through the phase of the bear. And that's what the bear is. The bear is just boring, right? The big drops. So again, we've had our first drop. Doesn't mean it's the end, right? Now it's the next thing. Now there's two plays. So again, anywhere here in these early 80s, late 70s maybe, but I do think we're close to the low here, right? Is I'm seeing a push up again for the next few weeks. In that time, I'm seeing a drop in Bitcoin dominance. Same as like it's done for the last 3 cycles in a row. The only difference this time is the timing, right? But other than that, the cycles do what they do. Right. And if you look at this, we never had a real altcoin rally. And that way, for me, there's still a question mark there. And I'm still a believer, honestly. Okay. But same thing like this. I see a drop coming out. When this drop comes and pushes down, okay, this is what I'm paying attention to over here. Right. Is this over here? Money flying into altcoins. So again, my plays is from here. Let's go off the scenario we did 2 cycles ago. Lower high. Bitcoin pumps around 105, 109. Okay, we don't get through there and we go down. Where I think the bottoms are of the next cycle, or bottom is range. I don't want to say the exact bottom, but range is I do think we're to get to late 50,000s to the mid 60s. That's where I see us coming. But first, I'm seeing a bounce. Again, RSI's at the bottom. Okay, a bounce. Now, in that time, altcoins, this is still my idea. I might be the only ones left in the market, right, that is still going on this kind of bull. This is what I'm still preparing for. Okay, I'm also preparing for this. Okay, but there's going to be an opportunity to offload the long-term bags. There's going to be an opportunity, right? And that's what I'm paying attention to. I am still a believer because where the dominance is at is that we are going to see this. We are going to see a higher high within the market, the altcoin specifically. I still think we're going to see a $6,000-$7,000 ETH. Right? I think at any point we're going to see a crazy rally up. Okay, and then I do think we go into bear territory. Same with Solana, right? I'm still a believer. Okay, on the high time frames. Guessing the bottom, it can be anywhere of this next 20-30% of where we are right now, right? I don't want to guess the bottom, but it just gives me a little bit of hope to realize, that there is going to be opportunity to exit the long-term portfolio at some point, right? And that kind of eases me off and gives me a little bit of that breathing space that I've been looking for rather than just it's over type of things, right? Very important. So again, this is my play, guys. Remember that we move in usually 3 waves to the upside. Okay, so just to show you guys, previous cycle we did it as well. Okay, here, so we had the first wave, we had the second wave, and we had the third wave, known as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we tend to have 5 legs to the upside, and then we tend to have 2 legs to the downside. Right, so what that looks like is A, B, C. This is known as Elliott wave. It's basically known as a theory that's been used on charts for a very long time. Right, we basically move up in 5 and we basically come down in 2, and then we settle and then we start again with 5. Okay, so you'll tend to see this quite often. So again, if we count the legs here on Bitcoin, 1, 2, 3 legs to the upside, right? So it's a 5-wave move up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an ABC, where the first drop happens, B, and then C. And what tends to happen is as big as this drop is over here, will be as big as this drop is over here. But we are missing B, and that's why B stands for bull, right? That's where I am in here right now and what I'm paying attention to. So again, just wanted to highlight to you guys. Now let's go to short time frame. I want to give you guys a couple. I still see from here, I do see a higher low. Okay, not only do I see a higher low, I do see us starting to, basically start this leg that I'm speaking about on Bitcoin. I do see us start pushing up to the 100 at any point. Now, again, it won't go in a straight line. It'll take a little bit of time, okay? But there's longs to be taken. So for me, Bitcoin did drop, went slightly lower, 618, recovered it, okay? And I'm still seeing this push up. So the play today of what I'm possibly seeing is a little bit of redness, okay, for the next few hours, and then an opportunity, okay, for a long. So here, we might push up higher. We'll see. But what I'm looking at is something like this and then up. And that's what I'm paying attention to for longs, right? Within the market, put nicer stops over here and just keep going. The biggest thing you have to do right now is just risk management, right? Making sure that you're not putting all your money into the trades. Just keep going, keep building. You have the skill. If you are using leverage, obviously we have the skill of using the leverage capital. But other than that, your streak is coming. And when your 3 wins come, they're gonna outperform 10 losses, right? And that's the whole key here. So the trades that I'm paying attention to is this. Sol dropped through. I did get stopped on my one trade. Let's just jump in here. Okay, I'm still a little bit low. I'm just below 40K now at the moment. But I ended up getting a great buy. So remember I told you guys I was buying here, got stopped out twice. Okay, the one actually, I didn't have a stop loss. I'm just going to say it, dumbass. And I had to quickly fix that and kind of get that. And then I fought, and then I got in. Right, stop loss below. So my stop loss is 122 now. Okay, so again, I'm long Sol. So what I'm looking at here is at any point now, Sol can drop to the areas of this. I would say anywhere between 125 and 126 is good buys, and a stop loss at around 123. And that I'm looking for the push up to the 134, actually possibly higher. But for now, that is the play. So that's the first one major trade. The next one to pay attention to, guys, is Zcash. I think this is a great spot trade. I don't even think you need to leverage this thing, right? Where we are right now, the buy zones, I'll show you. There's a little bit of zone here, $300 to $320. And I'm seeing a push up to at least $450 to $500. Okay, after that, I think we go lower. But this, we are coming straight down to the 618 on the daily. Very good buy, support on the left over here. So here's a good spot trade that's incoming at the moment. Okay, and then the next one I want to show you guys as well is Ethereum. ETH as well. I think ETH is going to at any point pop through to around 3,200. Okay, we're looking for the higher low. Okay, so again, my buy zones on ETH are anywhere between 2,750 and basically the 2,780, right? 90, even here if it's spot, and then just popping a nice little stop at the bottom over here. When we go into profits, you move the stop loss up, which I'll get to you guys in the next couple of shows. But that's literally right now strength. I see Super Farm is waking up. Guys, do not sit and say there won't be an alt season at any point. Keep an eye out for this breakout. Might be a good spot trade. Remember, this is at the bottom here. There's a lot of great money to be made on Super Farm. But there's strength. AVAX is also looking pretty decent. So a lot of the alts, we're looking at double bottoms here, which is very bullish, right? So from here, higher low, and then we get going. Stop loss under here, or what you can do is you can zoom in. If you want to leverage trade these things, let's jump in here on the brush. Okay, and if this starts coming down and you can catch the trend, you can put a stop loss below, right? That could be leveraged. How much leverage do I put? What is your risk? If your risk is 1% and your rules are for the trades that you take that you won't use more than 5%, for example. So if you got a 1% stop loss or 0.7, this would be around about a 5 to 6x start, right? It could be, if you catch it even closer, you could even have a higher leverage as well. So remember, your percentage times your leverage is how much you will actually lose. Make a set decision. If it's conservative, don't risk more than 3% per trade. If it's higher risk, let's say, or more aggressive, right? It means that you have money backed up and you're going to go aggressive with small amounts of money. That you could have anywhere up to a 5 to 10% risk appetite, right? So if this, for example, I had a 10%, I would start this trade on 15x. Right, when that happens. And remember, your wins are going to be Powerful. Okay, guys, when am I trading my funded challenges? Okay, is when we hit these zones. If we don't hit the zones and we pop up higher, right, then there'll be another opportunity. Maybe here, maybe here. Right, but I do think the market, why am I saying that I think there's a little bit more downside? We didn't close the daily candle strong yesterday on all the alts. So I just want to show you here. Oh, come on. Okay, here, here, here. Okay. You see the daily candle, not super strong. So it's telling me that we should go into possibly a little bit of red today and then go up. So just keep that in mind. Guys, any exchanges you're looking for, remember, we've got a BTC deal at the moment. We're giving away Rolex. Nonetheless, you can trade stocks here. So if crypto is boring, you can trade stocks with crypto, right? Very cool. We also have 𝗬𝗏𝗡 here with a lot of great deals. You know, the money you get just by signing up and doing a couple tasks, it's free money in a market where money is quite scarce, right? And remember, here, we've started releasing and we're going to continue release. I'll probably say by next week, Friday, everyone that's in the waiting list will join the new Sniper Club. It is free for you guys. Click on over here and you can join the club. Okay, guys, have a great day. I'll be back again tomorrow. Lots of love. Bye-bye.